So Feng Shui is an ancient practice over 4,000 years old, and it's an art and a science of arranging a space to promote flow. I also use a really interesting tool called a Bagua map. So this is a map that we use to define different areas of your home. You have 9 different energy centers. I kind of think of them like the chakra system, right? We have 9 different energy centers in our home that connect to different aspects of our life. And so when we can use these to bring alignment to our space, we can use them to empower us and to also move forward, right? I actually hit burnout at 29. I had my dream job. I was designing private jet interiors, and it was fantastic. I mean, I did this prior to this. I did it for several years, and fast forward, and I just hit burnout. The pressures of the work, the travel, the demands from some of these clients, it was really intense. And so I left that job, and that was very difficult to do, but I knew I had to heal my body, and I was not okay. I think, in my opinion, the future of the design world and spaces is evolving. We care about our mental health. We care about what I'm, maybe what I'm putting in my body, or what I'm putting on my body, or the materials I'm putting near my body. Are they quality? Are they natural? Right? And younger generations are even more interested in that. So I see the entire field of interior design changing. I believe, I don't want to sound arrogant, but I kind of believe my work is the future of design.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Zen and Now. And in today's episode, I have a special soul joining me, a Midwest farm girl turned interior designer, certified master's teacher of interior alignment in Feng Shui, host of a Feng Shui Living podcast, and an author as well of Alignment at Home. Thank you for joining us, Lisa.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to chat with you today.
So, Lisa, before we get into, the crux of Feng Shui and the wellness part, can you just give my listeners and even some of your listeners of who Lisa is and just a little bit of your upbringing in the Midwest?
I'm a nature lover. I've always loved nature, and I think it's interesting to. I grew up on a grain farm in Iowa, and I look back now, and our family lived following the cycles of nature. Our family lived, we watched the weather, to support my father and his team, and we would watch the seasons as they changed. Our lives revolved around the different seasons, from spring when you would plant to fall when you would harvest, and then wintertime when it was kind of quieter around the house. And I think so much of this supports me now in my work, in doing this approach to interior spaces, and I love it because I'm just a nature lover, and I love to help people connect with nature. I think it's so healing and so important, especially in such a busy lifestyle with technology and everything. I think we are craving comfort and nature more than ever.
I think living in nature as well, it's a sense of home, right? And that's why we also need our homes to be a place where we can feel safe, so
Feel
to
safe.
speak.
Yeah, I like that word. That's a great word. And comforted and supported and held.
Because think about how much of our times we spend indoors, actually.
I think I recently read 90%, the average person spends 90% of their life indoors.
Yeah, exactly. And we need our spaces to feel safe, because out there is crazy. We don't need to be indoors crazy as well.
Exactly.
So did you spend most of your time on the farm outdoors, or was it a balance of a home girl, or you were more the tomboy outside with all the kids?
I was kind of a mix of both because while we grew up on a farm and I was outside playing and getting dirty and having fun, right? Like a normal kid. I also had a mother who was kind of a fancy woman and loved fancy things. And so we would always rearrange furniture on Saturdays. And I look back now and I think some of that was an inspiration and got me into loving interior spaces many, many years ago. And so I think back to that. And so I loved making things pretty and rearranging the lamps and adjusting the throw pillows. And it's kind of funny when you look back at your childhood and see how it's influenced your life as an adult. I
Yeah,
also was a very sensitive child. So I think that influenced a little bit of wanting to create this environment that's really comfortable, really cozy, because I could feel it at a very deep level.
yeah. It's funny that you mentioned that when we tap into our childhoods now in our adulthoods, so much of how we shaped or how we grew up kind of resonate with us how we actually live our lives right now in terms of like yourself now you're an interior designer that you mentioned that you'd be just shifting things around but subconsciously you never actually thought okay this probably started when I was a wee little thing in on the farm just rearranging my mom's furniture and probably getting scolded for it as well. I'm
Yeah, my
sure.
my mom used to get these home magazines, like Better Homes and Gardens and things
Yeah,
back
yeah,
in
yeah,
the day. And all these beautiful magazines, and I would take my markers and I would like improve all the photos because I could do better, and I would draw wallpaper on and color in the carpeting a different color. And oh my goodness, you're right. It's interesting to think about
yeah.
how just little moments in our childhood really impact us. And honestly, it was later, which because I initially went to school for communications because I didn't really think interior design would have brought a successful career.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I really didn't know there wasn't a lot of that where I grew up. And so I initially went to school for communications and then just realized this is not creative enough. So I decided to really follow what I felt, I really wanted to do and I was
Yeah.
called to do.
Okay. And then tapping more into your right side brain, creativity, logical side was kind of there to be aligned to okay what everybody else does, but the right side was saying no, I need to go into another direction.
Well, I'm kind of one of those people. I've always had a little bit of an entrepreneurial spirit. So I think I had this, maybe I was naive, but I had this idea, I'm going to make it work no matter what. So, and I have. I've created a unique niche, a unique approach to working with homes. And I mean, I kind of created my dream job,
Right.
and I'm so lucky to get to do it every day.
Yeah. Exactly. You say that not a lot of people actually are actually working in the space that they love or they've actually studied in, I would say, or are they passionate about. It's a very small percentage. And thankfully, like I myself, I love tech. So I work in tech, but I also love helping people. So I do this on the side as well. So I'm just blessed to have built this opportunity, like you said, for yourself, because nobody else does it for you. It's something that you've got to go out there and really take the bull by the horn, so to speak, and really make it work. During that time, uh, was there a defining moment when you realize, okay, uh, where we live in our home environment, not even just where we live, just any environment has to feel uh, safe so that we are able to emotionally, mentally, and physically regulate.
Well, I have a story if you're open to it.
Yeah, please go
Um,
ahead.
it was really incredibly impactful. I started my design business, my own business in 2010. And during this time, I started studying a holistic approach to design and I started my Feng Shui studies and I was diving deep into this work. And this woman called me to her home and I show up with all my samples and swatches and tape measure ready to go, whatever she needed. And we walked through the home. It was a lovely home. We sat down at the dining table And she sat across from me and said, Lisa, I'm dying. I need your help setting up my home so that my children and my husband can go on living once I'm gone. As you can imagine, it took me a moment to collect myself because that was the last thing I was expecting. I was expecting, oh, let's pick out paint colors or something fun. So this woman had been through several rounds of cancer and was really tired and done fighting. And she just wanted to have some peaceful time enjoying her family. Her home did need some general updating. It needed some new carpeting. It was really worn. The furniture was worn. I mean, she'd been ill for so long. Redecorating or even furniture shopping was the very last thing on her list. So I helped her redo some of the spaces. But we did it with Feng Shui in mind. So in Feng Shui, we have a 5-element system: wood, fire, earth, metal, and water, right? And so we used a lot of earth element for comfort. We brought in some brown, cozy brown, tan, beige, textural things into our living room. Cozy throws that have a lot of texture to them. We brought in some wood element for a sense of regrowth and renewal because she was adamant she wanted her kids to go on living, right? And then we did a few other just meaningful touches in the home. And one of them that I really felt was so special. This family had loved to go hiking and go on all these adventure trips together prior to the mother getting sick. And so we ended up creating a collage wall with family photos from all kinds of trips. And it covered the whole wall. It was beautiful. And it created this moment for the family to remember and to celebrate all their experiences together. But then also, this was going to be a special place once she was gone that they could come back to and remember and have those good memories. And so being able to help this woman in multiple ways to bring in work on the aesthetics and things like that, but then also the energetic approach and creating a peaceful environment. And I will always say that was one of my most meaningful projects. I knew driving home that day that I am meant to do this.
Yeah.
Felt right. So it was powerful in many ways.
How long ago, do you mind if I ask how long ago was that?
Well, that was probably 2012. So it's been a while, but I will always remember that story and I will never forget that woman.
God bless us all. Thank you for doing that for the family. I think they probably were so appreciated that something was created in memory also, and something that feels warm. Because sometimes we look back upon those moments, like you said, that alter and change the course of lives, and not just for you, but for the family as well. And I think,
Mhm. I wanted to really be mindful when we were bringing things in, not to just
yeah,
bring in whatever, but to bring in things that they might not understand what's happening, but they'll feel it in their body. They'll feel their shoulders drop. They'll be able to take a bigger breath and just breathe a little deeper. And that was my goal.
right.
The aesthetics, that was just a bonus.
No, if it's if you do something with all your heart, it will show. It will depict in visually as well, not just in a spiritual form, but visually as well. It will come through. That you have that. When people shine and that aura, that glow you have. That's what it is. Nobody can take that shine away from it. And I think you're the curator of that. You're part of that shine as well. So kudos for you for doing that.
Well, it was also a beautiful gift for her to give to her family,
Yeah.
not to just leave them with a home that needed help and they weren't really interested and they were they needed time to grieve and heal. They weren't going to want to go pick out flooring.
No, for sure. Yeah. There are more important things to do at that time. And so if you can get people to help us in a way, we should ask for it. I myself struggle with that at times. asking for help because we always want to carry the load for others and not for ourselves. I think actually it's been happening recently because we feel we give so much of ourselves to others, and the question comes back to us is, who's there for us? Sometimes it feels like you are alone in that way. Uh, do you have um, somebody that you can call upon, not just the other way around? Because a lot of the times, you are needed for others. Who's there for Lisa when your feng shui or when your alignment is off?
Oh boy. This is a good question because I feel like maybe things I would have said in the past or people, it's kind of shifted recent, over the past year. Um, for me, support comes in the form of my yoga practice, journaling, my husband, who's just very loving, very kind. Um, I have a very close friend who's just one of those people, you know, but for me, it's my default is going outside. We live on a beautiful property with 15 acres and a mile trail through the woods. And I just go outside amongst the trees and it's just like they hold me, right? They just listen. I might talk to the trees. And yes, it sounds weird, but they, they care for you and nature's there to just love on you. And so I think that's kind of my default.
Nice. So nature's got your back, so to speak.
Yes. Yes. Nature's
Actually,
all of our backs. We
yeah.
can let it.
Actually, this morning on my bike ride, and I usually have a spot where I usually go to just for me, for my time. And I just usually sit on a bench, and it's overlooking Lake Ontario with sailboats and whatever. And it's just big. At certain moments of the day, it's really quiet. After a little bit, it gets, with foot traffic and bike traffic. But at a certain time, it's just really quiet. I'm sure, but if you follow me on social media, you'll see that I posted it this morning. And just the birds were chirping, and it was really, really quiet and serene. And you're just there with your thoughts. And in that moment, you realize, okay, it's okay to be alone in that moment and to be just present. Because I think a lot of the times we look too far ahead, but we don't actually like sit in that moment. So nature then, you know, scolds you. It gives you that little tap. And just sit here, just relax, please.
Right? Because it's also so easy. We're looking back, we're looking forward, we're also looking down at our phone so often, right? And that's another one. Sometimes you want to go outside you know, to just walk around the block, right? And reset maybe, but you instantly pull it's such a instant reaction. Pull out that phone, check a voicemail, check an email, listen to a podcast. I mean, hey, I'm all about listening to podcasts, but there is a time and place. Put it away. Put it away and just listen to the birds. When do we do that? We don't get to do that often. And it's so important to just have that quiet time outside. Listen to the leaves blowing in the wind. Listen to the squirrel running across, right?
Yeah. And I think a lot of that aligns also with feng shui. I think that's the elements, the earth elements. For a new listener or listeners who aren't, I mean, we're all aware of feng shui, but if somebody was like, okay, can I give a little bit of a dummy's guide to understanding what feng shui is from Lisa, how would you best describe, the flow of feng shui and what it is?
So Feng Shui is an ancient practice over 4,000 years old, and it's an art and a science of arranging a space to promote flow. Now, when I say space, it isn't just the home. I also look at the surrounding area, what's going on outside your home. We use the 5 element system. I also use a really interesting tool called a Bagua map. So this is a map that we use to define different areas of your home. You have 9 different energy centers. I kind of think of them like the chakra system, right? We have 9 different energy centers in our home that connect to different aspects of our life. And so when we can use these to bring alignment to our space, we can use them to um, empower us and to also like move forward, right? Because our homes, they're wonderful. They're telling us and other people who we are and what we're about, what we value, but they're also telling us who to be tomorrow, right? They're sending us out the door and we're seeing different things as we're walking out the door to our next day. And how is that setting us up? Are they messages that are good, artwork that inspires us, and colors and patterns that make us feel joyful? Or are they things that bring us down, a lot of clutter or things that just don't make us feel good? I actually did Reiki training way back. So I actually, we'll get into another topic here. I actually hit burnout at 29. I had my dream job. I was designing private jet interiors. And it was fantastic. I mean, I did this prior to this. I did it for several years. And fast forward, and I just hit burnout. The pressures of the work, the travel, the demands from some of these clients, it was really intense. And so I left that job, and that was very difficult to do, but I knew I had to heal my body, and I was not okay. So fast forward, and I was doing all the things. I started a yoga practice. I started meditating. I was eating better foods. I was walking every day. I was going to therapy, doing all the things, you're supposed to do. And it was interesting for me. One of the things that really helped was Reiki, energy work on my body. And it was interesting because I was not in this realm at all. I didn't understand this work at all. It was woo, it was out there, but I was open to trying anything for relief. And this was transformative. And it showed me, I was like, okay, so we have energy in our body. I buy it now. So I'm like, well, how can this translate to our environments? And so that was really fun. Fast forward, I trained in Reiki myself and became a Reiki master in 2010. And this really started just opening up my ability to understand spaces at a deeper level, things that I was always kind of intuitive about, but it shifted. It became even more powerful. So I was able to sense things in homes and pick up on things that just in a different way. It's been really beautiful.
Yeah. Do you perform an energy clearing before you begin, or is it just? Can you just walk us through your practice? You get a client who calls you in, and just a brief overview. You don't have to give all your secrets away.
No, I have a few different
Okay.
options. So some people, the energy clearing, the remote clearing might be a little too out there for them. And I want, whatever it is, I want my clients to feel comfortable, right? They might just want the Feng Shui layout, just the black and white. Tell me what I need to do. But I do have a beautiful consultation that it starts with the cleansing because we need to rinse out to make space for new to come in. We need to get those energetic cobwebs. And some people are like, oh, is my house haunted? No, like we have things that collect in our homes. Emotions, right? If you have an argument with someone in your home, those emotions can sit there. If you have a bug, if you're sick, right? And you're laying on the sofa for 3 days, miserable, that energy is stuck in that room until we rinse it out. So these energy clearings are really powerful to rinse out anytime you go through a big life experience, a divorce, illness, loss of a family member. Maybe you're starting something new, starting a new job, moving into a new home, starting something fresh. So it's a great way to rinse out and just reset.
Yeah, it's important that you mentioned that because in our homes, yeah, everything, all our emotions are experienced. Uh, Outbursts, anger, love, everything is there, and there are moments when something might trigger you, and you need to be able to understand it's not for your forever, and that and that space is there for you to feel safe. If somebody comes to you and they say, "Hey, Lisa, the space that you've created for us needs realignment," or and what was working for us is no longer working for us. Uh, is that something that you go back to and say, "Okay, let's reevaluate," or do you say, "Okay, how long have you been in that space for before I can come in and make a change?"
Yeah. We're constantly shifting. Our lives are constantly shifting, and we're supposed to, right? We're not
Yeah,
supposed to be stagnant, stuck in
yeah,
one
yeah,
spot forever. Things happen, right? You might have you might have a I might work with you initially and you have a dog at home. And next thing, 3 years from now, you have two kids, right? Or, and then you get something, and then grandma moves in and then a kid leaves, right? Our interests, we work from home. We don't work from home. We have different interests in life. And so our homes are supposed to shift along with that. So when I set up a home, when I work with a client, I have an intake form with a lot of questions about how do you feel in certain spaces? What areas make your energy lift? When you walk into certain areas, what are those ones that make your energy fall? And then also, what are your goals? Because I want to know what your goals are, what you're working towards. That's really powerful. And I have a lot of clients who are trying to be humble and just, oh, I want it to just feel really nice. And I'm like, no,
that's
tell
nice.
me what you dream of. What do you
Yeah,
want?
yeah.
Don't be humble. And
They
it's really
probably also don't want to come across as too forceful, I think, and that's holding back. And I was recently told, don't hold back from expressing yourself, because a lot of the times, most of my life, I was inward because I was a shy, um, awkward little kid, bullied in school. Those kind of things happen, and you take what your experiences and then you carry it with you into adulthood if it's not tackled at source. But now, recently, slowly, you start to break those cycles and to show up not just for yourself but others as well. And um, sorry, I'm just going off topic here, but
I
I just
love it.
wanted to understand that I see a trend where you speak about uh, burnout as well. And I've had previous women on my podcast as well who experienced the same thing you have, um, where the career is trajectory is there, but they just reach that point where they can't do that anymore, and then alignment shifts to now helping others understand that that's not the end all and be all. And you had that moment when you couldn't do that anymore, and then you tapped into your passion, so to speak. uh, so that's why, sorry, I just had to bring
No, I
that
think
in.
you're right. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I'm seeing a
interesting.
lot of that right now, and not just for females but for male counterparts as well. A lot of men are trying to now tap into not just their full male energy, but also bring themselves to female energy, understanding what that actually means. Because
Mhm.
they'll say, "Oh, male and female energy." I never. If you think about it, you'll be like, "Oh no, am I a male? Am I a female?" No, no, that's not what we're saying. don't
Yeah,
don't quote
it's
us on
that
that.
softness versus
Yeah,
that intensity, or just how you move about your
move.
day.
Yeah,
And you're so right that there's so many people. And I remember there was when I left my job, I was in very bad shape. I was having panic attacks all the time. I'd be at work and I'd have to run out to my car because I felt this panic attack coming on. I would hide in this closet. And I look back now and I feel so sad for that gal because I didn't know what to do. I actually didn't really even know what was wrong with me.
yeah, same.
I had, when I was growing up in the 80s and 90s, we didn't sit around and talk about
No.
stress reduction techniques. I thought I had a heart condition. I went to the doctor expecting to be diagnosed with a heart condition.
Mm,
So fast forward, and it was bad. I was very anxious. I was very depressed. I had a hard time even leaving my house after I left my job. I couldn't even go to the grocery store. I had a really hard time, and it took a year. It was a year of healing myself. And I knew after that I really wanted to help people know that they're not alone through this. We don't have to hide. We don't have to hide in the closet when we're having a panic attack. There are so many loving, caring people out there, even if they're a stranger, right? And so for me to be able to help anyone, I couldn't do what I do now had I not gone through that,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
You make a good
So
point.
for,
Yeah.
so for me to be able to help people now, oh, it's so fulfilling. I'd do it every day for free if I could.
We all have to make a living somehow.
Right? I
It's
do
just
have
the
bills
world.
to pay, but
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's just the world we live in. And uh, yeah, well,
yeah.
that's this topic for another day. No, but I can attest to that, how you felt. It took me back to also my anxiety driven days. I generally do struggle with anxiety. I do take medication now for it as
Mhm.
well. But I am an anxious person by nature. And when your core values or when something you do out of alignment is breached, you just don't know how to manage the load and the stress. And uh, the truth always sets you free. That nothing beats that. And sometimes we hide away from or what is actually happening to us. And when you face with that truth, it's not actually. They say you hold that mirror up to yourself to what's exactly happening to you, even if it's somebody else. But it's your own reflection in that mirror talking back at you and telling you, hey, something is not right. And
Mhm.
burnout and anxiety, depression, mental health issues all stem from something that was not dealt with at a certain moment in our lives. Uh, we can blame external factors until the chickens come home to roost and the cows will come home to moo. And but end of the day, we have to take accountability for ourselves. Like you bring your own practice and your own experiences into the feng shui, into the interior design space, not just interior design, but also in the external design space, because you want people to feel safe. And that's the
Mhm.
ultimate goal of why we do what we do, is to help them just feel safe in their own bodies.
Yeah.
That's why, if correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm saying,
No, I think you hit it spot on. And I think, in my opinion, the future of the design world and spaces is evolving. We care about our mental health. We care about what maybe what I'm putting in my body or what I'm putting on my body or that the materials I'm putting near my body, are they quality? Are they natural? Right? And younger generations are even more interested in that. So I see the entire field of interior design changing. I don't think it's going to be like in the past, well, let's make it beautiful and functional. I believe, maybe I don't want to sound like arrogant, but I kind of believe my work is the future of design. I think this is what more and more people are going to gravitate towards, having it look nice, but having some depth behind it, why it looks that way and how it supports, not only you, but your family, any children, pets, anyone.
yeah. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this short break.
Pause with us. Breathe. And if this episode resonates, subscribe, follow, and like to stay connected.
No, you make an important point, and I don't think it's arrogance. I just think it's confidence. If you're confident,
I've seen it shift people.
yeah,
It's changed my own life, right? I started studying feng shui, and I would implement things into my home, and I would make adjustments and bring certain colors. And I go back to when I was very stressed out, very anxious, and I couldn't sleep at night. And I look back now, I didn't know what I know now, but I had a red headboard. It was a beautiful designer fabric. I had gotten it for steel. I was so excited. I had made this beautiful, elaborate headboard. right? And now thinking back, of course I couldn't sleep. Of course I was anxious at night. I had this red headboard blaring at me, and red in Feng Shui is a fire element. It's really loud and active and bright and bold. It's not calming whatsoever.
Yeah. We have a smart light in our room, so you can always change the light according to what mood you're in. So most of the time we have it like warm white, just like you go before you go to bed. It feels warm, it feels welcoming. You want to get into bed, and then at times when passion hits, then you get those other lights that are come on.
Right?
So
Yeah.
I can attest to what you're saying, and even like a simple pillow that you purchase from IKEA or you go to Home Depot, whatever it is, and you bring it home and it changes just the whole outlook of everything.
Yeah,
A simple thing like
definitely.
that. We're not saying you have to go and like redo everything. You can
No.
one simple shift.
Yeah.
If somebody's feeling stuck right now in that space, any suggestions from you that they could use right now or take and say, hey, from a design perspective, what's one simple shift that they could do to make their space feel a little bit more safer?
So there's two things that I'd love to share, and one that I've personally used a lot. And that is to put your body in the command position, or sometimes called the power position. So in say your office, if you work at home, your home office, once you set up so you have a solid wall behind and a view in front. You can see the door off to a side. Now we want to avoid having it directly across from our desk, okay? We want it off to a side. This puts our body at ease. You'll just feel more supported and also just a little more at ease while you're working in this command position. This is great at home office. Also, your bedroom. Make sure your bed is in the command position so you have a solid wall and you can see the door. This, again, puts your body at ease. But then I take it everywhere. Say I've had a long week and maybe I'm tired, I'm not feeling my best, but I have dinner plans. Well, I'll go to and ask for the table in the corner so I can put my back against that wall and feel extra safe and calm on a night maybe I'm just not feeling my best. So the command position is really powerful, easy to do. Don't be afraid to ask the restaurant or wherever for a certain table. I used to be so shy about it and embarrassed, and they're happy to make you comfortable for the most part. And if not, then maybe you shouldn't eat there. But here's another one that I really love. I'd mentioned the Bagua map earlier. It's this map that we overlay on your floor plan. And here's something that's really cool about it. The centermost area of your home and the centermost area of this Bagua map connects to every other energy center in your home. So if you do nothing, I would suggest find the center of your home. So if you were a bird in the sky looking down, where would that be? Locate it and love on it. Tidy it up. Sweep the floors, replace any spent light bulbs, dust, wipe down, clean the glass, and then enhance it. Can you bring in a beautiful bouquet of flowers? Can you refreshen the artwork with something new? Fluff the pillows if it's a living room. Like, do nice things by loving and caring on this space. That energy will radiate out throughout the rest of your home. And we all can do that. Take 5 minutes when you go home today, locate this area, and just tidy it, love it, make it feel really special.
Yeah, it's similar to cooking, right? If you're feeling heavy, it'll come out in the food. If you're feeling lighter, it'll come out nice and airy and flavorful. And because some people cook with feeling, right? It comes out in their food. It's similar to your home.
Yeah.
One thing I
I
do.
tell people to do the same. If you're sweeping your floor, recite a mantra, recite a prayer, recite a poem
Yeah.
as you're sweeping your floor, wiping your counters, turn everything into this beautiful ceremony of just caring for your home. It totally transforms chores.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, in that moment, like you said, when you were depressed and going through through that experience, did your home feel it? I'm talking to it as an entity now, like it's part of you. did your home feel your energy?
That's interesting. Yes. I always say our homes are mirrors. I've never actually slowed down to think about that time in my life and that home, but it was definitely mirroring things. And I never loved that home.
Okay.
I never felt really comfortable. We only lived there for a few years. But it is interesting looking back.
Okay.
I thought about the sleep and the headboard, but the rest of the space, we had some great memories in that home, but overall it was rough. You got me to thinking now.
You can okay, offline you can send me your response once you've thought about
I'd
it.
have to journal on this for a
Yeah,
while. This could be a
I'd
really
love to
good journal
hear
prompt.
I'd love to hear that response. I'd love to see that feedback.
Boy.
But no, it is important because your home is your safe space. And emotional, we carry a lot of our emotions, our traumas, everything in that space. So it's important for us to be safe. You're looking back at now your journey. You become an author. You started your own podcast as well. What was the inspiration, to get that book out? And when did you start that journey?
I started writing the book. So it was published last November of 2025. I started writing in probably November of 2024.
Okay, so it's quite
So
recent.
I had always wanted to write a book because I went to school for communications originally, and I love to write and all that. But my main core reason for doing this is because I found so much frustration when I was first studying this. Before I started working with a teacher, I'd ordered a bunch of books, Feng Shui books, and wanted to learn about it. Well, I read one book and it was interesting and I was intrigued. And then I read another book and then it made me even more confused. And then I read another one and they almost contradicted what the first and second one said. It was not clear. So like so many other things, it has morphed and shifted into different schools or sects and an approach to practicing. So that's important to know because I hear this all the time. I'm so confused. I thought I knew what I was doing and now
Yeah.
this is something different. And so I wanted to explain that, but then also share easy things that you can do. So the first book is a little bit of a memoir-ish. I share about the ugly burnout and what I learned from that, and now how I feel empowered to help people in their environments in a different way, in a very special way.
Right.
And then the rest of the book is like just informational, but there are journal prompts in there. There are checklists. There's moments for you to just pause and look around your space and notice. And just it's really fun. It's really great. I'm so excited about it. And my goal is really my goal with the book is to help people open their eyes to realizing that it's not just a box that they crash in at the end of the day. Their home is supporting them and influencing their tomorrow.
Yeah. I always thank my wife for bringing the plants into our home because I myself wouldn't have. If I was just by myself, I don't think I would have,
Yeah.
added that element into the space. But it does, you feel that nature
Right.
within your
It's
space.
bringing nature in,
Yeah.
and that in the 5 elements connects to the wood element. And the wood element is all about growth and renewal and moving forward and harmony, and that every space can use a plant. And here's the thing. If you don't care for plants, if you don't have a green thumb, if you just aren't interested in plants, that's okay. But think about how you can bring a sense of nature in. So maybe that's a green throw on the back of your sofa, a blanket throw, placed across the back of the sofa for some green coloring, or maybe it's artwork showing flowers or a field of flowers or trees or something. So bring artwork in. So if you don't like flowers or plants, you don't have to bring the living thing in.
Yeah. No, because sometimes people feel it's a lot of work. They don't understand how to take care of it. But you learn as you go along the way, and thankfully now we have that.
Watch your children, watch pets, and watch your plants. And that will tell you a lot about the energy of your home.
Yeah. Pets feel they mirror us. They become the same persona that they own us.
It's funny. I actually have a chapter in my book all about pets because
Yeah. Okay.
it's interesting. I mean, I know so many people. I'm a dog lover. I have 2 English Mastiffs. They're big dogs. They're big lovers. But I know some people that want to get like pink outfits and dress up their dog and think they're natural animals. They want those natural colors, natural things near them. Animals also like to be in the command position. So placing their bed so it's against a wall, but they can see everything going on. If you have an anxious dog, that will help calm them down. I'm not a veterinarian, but this is what I have experienced, what I've helped my clients work with. So it's interesting to watch our dogs and help them feel good too, or whatever your pets are.
Are you able to share one extreme makeover that you did and one makeover or that you feel like that was the turning point?
That was just my favorite story. So if you're any animal lovers listening, this is a very interesting one, and it opened my eyes a lot too. I had a client who had called me and she canceled. And then she called me again, and then she canceled. She called me the 3rd time, and I'm thinking, okay, is this going to happen? I showed up at her doorstep, and she was very nervous. And I just tried to put her at ease. We're just going to talk and see how I can help you. No pressure. And she was a single woman living here. And as I walked in, it was a beautiful home, big, beautiful, grand home. I knew exactly, I'd driven by it. I lived nearby and it was beautiful. And I walked in, over every surface was plastic, the floors, the furniture. And I was so perplexed. What is this about? Well, we sat down in the kitchen and she apologized and everything and apologized for canceling before and everything. And we got to talking. Her husband had passed away maybe 10 years prior. And then her son had just passed away a year prior to that. She had a cat who was towards the end of its life. And so she had put this plastic out because she wanted the cat to roam out. She's gripping on to this life of this little cat so hard.
Yeah.
She wanted the cat to have the free reign of the house. It was getting sick, and she was in her 70s and couldn't get around so well. And maybe she said she might miss that the cat gets sick and she doesn't see it or can't get to it in time. And then it leaves stains and everything, which is why she had the plastic everywhere. But then my first thought is, there's plastic on the carpeted stairs. This poor woman is going to trip and fall. Like it was not a safe space. She had just been through so much loss. She was gripping onto this cat with everything she had. So we talked for a bit and I asked her what her favorite space was. And she said the sunroom. She loves to read in the sunroom. I was like, okay. Where does the cat like to spend most of its time? Well, the cat likes to spend time in the sunroom too, watching the birds and all this. I'm like, well, what if we focus the cat's space mostly in this sunroom? You can go in there and spend time together. You can snuggle. Your cat can watch the birds, and that's mostly its home, right? Without giving the cat free reign of the entire house because she wasn't living in her home. So then we lifted up the paper and, this was a slow process. The plastic came up and she was able to actually live in her home. So that was, it's so heartbreaking because I understand I've lost pets and just really difficult. And after already going through so much loss, so putting together a plan, and sometimes you need someone outside of the situation to see it with a different set of eyes, right? And how you can create a solution.
Yeah. You're talking about plastic. I remember some of the homes, family homes as well, had those plastics on the sofas. You ask your grandma, why do you have this and why is it there? And then some days you'll be just like, oh, okay, it's just their way of doing things. And it's actually taken me back to certain moments where, yeah, thinking back, it's like even on the kitchen table, there was that
Oh my gosh,
huge
you're right. I
plastic.
remember that.
Yeah.
But this wasn't the plastic that you used to see in the 80s, like covering.
Oh,
This was just like plastic sheeting, just
oh,
taped down and
wow.
it
Okay.
was not, done well, and it was messy, and yeah, you'd trip on it, and oh my gosh, yeah. But I remember the plastic. I had an aunt and uncle who had the plastic sofa, and
Yeah,
as a little kid, you'd sit on there with shorts and your
right.
legs would stick.
Like, and you'd wake up, it's like wet, and why is it wet? And
When you
yeah,
sweat.
yeah. Good times, isn't it? uh, Circling back just to Lisa, on a day to day, if Lisa is overwhelmed, is feeling a bit drained, um, going out and creating those wonderful spaces for homes for others, what's your go-to to come back to in this moment, and how do you rebalance and re-energize?
It is hard when you go out and work in other people's spaces. Sometimes I
That's
don't
why
wanna
I
always
asked.
work on
Yeah.
mine. Yeah, I have to really be mindful. I have certain, um, rituals and practices, I guess, just beautiful things, depending on the time of year too. Like, every morning I get up and I have my routine, and I water my plants, and I check on my plants, and I burn some incense, and I open the windows and get fresh air, and it's these I think these rituals keep me focused on my own home, because if I didn't have these routines, then I would, yeah, I'd kind of go crazy sometimes. Because again, I love to work on other people's homes, and I have to remember to work on it. So having those routines keeps me deeply connected to mine and deeply rooted. And so, yeah, I love to just spend time in certain rooms and just sit there and read a book if I can, even for 5 minutes, or just slow down and look out the window. It's so hard, but so important when we can do that.
Yeah. My follow-up to that is, are you kind to yourself when routine is out of balance?
No. That's life. Life. You know what? Since the beginning of the year, I have been traveling all the time, doing book events. I have been doing so much, and it's so exciting. And I want to ride this wave of this celebrating my book release and everything. But I've had to check in on myself a few times, because it's been getting a little crazy. I'm not sleeping as well. My digestion's been messed up. I'm just feeling more tired than normal. But I've been here before, and I have the tools in my
Yeah,
toolbox, right?
that's
And so
important.
now,
Yeah.
right, I make sure I get to the yoga class. I make sure I walk outside and get sunshine. I make sure I go walk in the woods and find even the 5 minutes. And something I love to share with my clients is I have this silly name for it. It's called a relaxation station. Everyone should have a relaxation station in your home. So that could be a room, that could be simply a chair that you just love to curl up in. It has your favorite throw. It has the perfect little table to set your favorite cup of tea, like these little favorite scented candle, whatever makes you feel amazing, right in this little nook that you can go and sit for even 5 minutes and just reset.
Yeah, it's actually taking me back to those winter days where you find a nice couch, just a nice blanket, and you're just chilling with your hot chocolate or something, and you're just comforted, you're just cozy, and your brain
Yeah.
just resets. For me now, it's living in Canada allowed us to really enjoy the outdoors outside, from a personal safety perspective. Coming from South Africa, yes, we can enjoy the outdoors, but also just over looking over your shoulder a little bit more. where over here
Mhm.
is, we live 2 blocks away from the lake. So water is calming. So we just take a walk to the water, even if it's 5-10 minutes. You reset, sit outside, and come back. You don't have to do this whole 1 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour thing. No, it's just those small little resets really do help the brain um, reconfigure, and you can go again, because something inside your mind, or for me, specifically, it's just something to say I've accomplished something. I know that I'm taking care of myself, uh, so that I can show up for others. Because if we don't keep our own cups full, we're not going to be able to share our stories like this and then show up for our partners or family members or whoever needs us in that moment.
Mhm.
Hence why, like you said, it's important that we also need to have those tools when things do get overwhelming to come back to understand.
Yeah.
Okay, it's okay to take a break. You don't have to go at full speed all the time.
Mhm. We can't go at full speed, right? We need to, and I think we also need to remember to how to slow down. Some some people just I think when you get used to it, right? You can go and just like sit for a few minutes and relax. Some people, that sounds awful to them, right? And I always say it's kind of like if a car is going 80 miles an hour and then hit the brakes, the passengers, it's going to be a jarring, uncomfortable
Yeah,
experience,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you can't do that with your body. You need to start slowing down and adding cues into your environment to help you slow down. So you can just, instead of loud rock music, play something like some soft, like jazz or lighter rock music, right? You can't just go from rock music to meditation music, right? Everything needs to kind of, from lighting and even scent, anything, just stair step down and help yourself ease into that peaceful state. And it will feel better than like hitting the brakes in the car.
I'm gonna throw a spanner into your point there. So
Yeah.
trance music is tranquil for me. So,
I love that. That's interesting. Well, hey, everybody has their thing.
yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, we do enjoy the other genres of music, but I know just something for about trance music. It
I
just
like
puts me
that.
in a good space. So yeah,
That's cool. But I mean, it's even like your light, like when you can't go into your living room and have the lights bright, blaring,
Mhm.
on all the lamps on at 10 o'clock at night and then expect to go instantly
Yeah, yeah,
crash in bed. Like, do those things to stair step down the intensity of your day. And that helps just ease into those quiet times and ease into rest and nighttime as
yeah.
well.
Just to taper down the night into your bed and just take maybe. Because sometimes we are guilty of just from one end to the other, bang, and that's it. Uh, I mean, it's part of human life, but sometimes we are like a little bit mindful, like, okay, TV off or whatever we're doing at 9:30, 10. Slowly go brush your teeth, do your cleansing, your cleansing practice, your face wash, whatever. Uh, put your PJs on, whatever it is, and then that's 10, 15 minutes already. So you've already started the taper down. And when you get into bed, okay, you feel a little less stressed than you were 10, 15 minutes ago. But
Yeah.
you know,
What's funny as we're talking about this is I did exactly the opposite last night.
see what I mean?
I
Life happens.
I had the opportunity to go to a really fun dance aerobics class. And I'm thinking, what would be more fun on a Monday night than dancing a little bit? Well, it was a little too late for my body. I I finally get to bed and I'm just still dancing in my head. And yeah.
Are you those days where you come home and everything is spinning? So,
Yeah.
um,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
no, Lisa, thank you for sharing your insights with us and the journeys of how we can make our home a safer space, a warm space for ourselves. And if somebody wants to get in touch with you, and work with you, can they do that via the website or through your socials?
Yeah, on the website, it's purelivingwithlisamorton.com, or you can also find me on social media at Pure Living with Lisa Morton. Yeah, and I'd love to work with anyone. I do offer a free 15-minute discovery call. So if someone's like, I don't know if this is for me, but I'm curious, we can just have a chat for 15 minutes and see where it goes.
And I will leave links in the description below of this podcast. So I will share Lisa's socials as well. So guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Lisa, for sharing that. I always like to take away a theme for each podcast, and today it's called healthy living space. So in any environment that we are, so I'll try and incorporate some of your practices as well. But no, anything you'd love to leave us with before we end the podcast?
Oh my gosh. Just remember the power of your home. It's not just a box that you crash in. Your home is very powerful at influencing your body, how it feels, and your life.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you for coming on, Lisa. And I wish you all the best with your future endeavors. And until the next one, guys, you guys know the drill. Like, share, subscribe, follow Lisa's journey, support it, mine's as well. All the links in the description below. And until the next one, guys, stay zen. Love you.